Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. I'm Bushka. Welcome back to the channel. Very happy to be with you here today as we have a look at a couple of vids from the humans out. This is from Tank Gamer, and the next one's from Frankenthumb. Now, this one is in the Jpanther, and it was an easy call for me to include this video. It's a fine game, and it's got a couple of things going for it, but I just thought there was not enough content out there, including this TD. Now, tier 7 is awash with TDs, and our Amigo here is running the 105mm gun. Now, the Jpanther is quite interesting, and a lot of TDs do this, particularly the German ones, where they will run a higher alpha gun and a lower alpha gun with very similar penetration numbers and such, but a different way of delivering that damage. The reason I quite like the Jag these days is it's been buffed a few times over the years, but the ability to switch that gun makes it an interesting vehicle. If you play it like you see it played here, the higher alpha gun works a lot better. You lose a touch of DPM with this gun. Like, I think it's 3,000 versus 2,800, so you're losing like 4%, 3% DPM, something along those lines. It's not a huge amount. But what it allows you to do is have a higher alpha strike and then pull back and fire. Now, DPM is all fine and dandy. Anyone will tell you that DPM is wonderful and it's great to have it. But at the same time, if you've got a gun like this, it doesn't have bad DPM. That's where the trick is. This has great DPM. 2,800 DPM at tier 7 is a buttock load of damage. Like, that is a huge damage output. In fact, I mean, what's your best DPM at this tier, really? Like, you're looking at about like an SU-152 or an SU-122S that are running the 120mm gun. They can get up to 3,300, but not many people run those tanks for that. They run them for the 150mm guns you can get on the SU-152. And that's, I mean, apart from that, you're right in the box seat. Even with the reduced DPM on this tank, there's only a very narrow field of tanks that can actually get over the top of you in terms of DPM. I mean, we're not even going to talk about the T-34-2 GFT, which is just a broken tank as far as I'm concerned. It gets alpha and DPM and armor. Like, good on you, and it's worth getting. But this 310 alpha gun gives you a wonderful opportunity to use it in this kind of manner, where you are able to just farm damage at a distance. And you can see he's only got 186 damage so far. That's going to change. He's going to get a lot of damage very fast. And this is why you love this gun, because there is a blend of alpha and DPM. And it's something that a lot of the German TDs do. They don't always have the best DPM, but they have a lovely option all the way up the line. Like the Waffle Tractor, you can run a 128 or you can run a 150mm. The same with the Borsig, the same with a lot of these guns, and it lends it to multiple different options. Now, this game is not exactly the most exciting, but I really wanted to showcase this tank. I remember when it got buffed, I forgotten about it completely up until that point in time. And I went and drove the tier 6, the Jpanther, and they nerfed it a little bit recently, but that thing just got buffed out the yin yang. And this tank also got some buffs, and they used to be the whipping boys of Blitz TDs. They weren't particularly renowned for their brilliant, their brilliant DPM, their armor profile, their mobility. Nothing was really special about them. That's changed. They've had armor buffs, they've had mobility buffs, they've had just so much. I mean, it's ludicrous, isn't it? Look at how good this tank is in terms of the accuracy on the gun. It's like 0.30 dispersion with the 105mm. You get down to 0.29 with the 88. But when you're sniping like that at range and you're not firing on the pop, where you actually have a reload time and then a little bit of a wait, it's perfect. 310 alpha at this tier is great. That's the same kind of alpha you get on a T29 heavy tank. It's the same kind of alpha you get on a tier 10 medium, like a T62A. This is plenty of alpha damage for this tier. And it would surprise you to know, or it may not surprise you, but depending on what you know. Great statement of fact there, Bushka. It's not actually true. The tank actually has slightly more DPM than that AT7 in just like a flat out burn, even with the higher alpha gun, which I think is phenomenal. And it's got enough armor profile that if you angle it up hard, it can get a few bounces. And you can see a little bounce is all it takes when you're running at these big boy numbers. Hit that adrenaline, sunshine. Hit the adrenaline. Oh my God, he's going to do it hard. Hardcore. So next time you're thinking about picking up a TD or what line to grind, you should really seriously consider that the German TDs at 6 and 7 particularly are very, very nice tanks. It's not like they get bad at 8 either, let me tell you. There are options at tier 8 that are quite fancy. So now we've talked about a tank that you should probably consider putting in the garage, the Jpanther, a tank that I think is vastly underplayed. And now I want to talk to you about a tank that when I reviewed it, I wasn't overly enamored of. Like, I think it's a reasonable tank. It's a tank that can work, but you know, the WZ concept is very much already in the game through so many tier 8 heavies. The IS-5, the IS-3, the Glacial, the IS-3 Defender is the autoloader version. I mean, it's just such a battered kind of idea. This big IS-6 style, slow firing, big derpy alpha gun on a reasonably good knife fighting chassis with enough armor to get the job done if you can get a bit of hull down work going on. That's the WZ-112. This game, however, is just... This is a phenomenal game in a tank that... I mean, I think that's such a WZ shot. But I think it's worth talking about this a little bit more. It's not that I find this tank to be an unlikely candidate. I mean, you can see the shots that are going out here. They are typically Russian. They are just so typically Russian, or in this case, Chinese. And it's the thing that turns me off the tank. But you've got to remember that in the aggregate, these things are different. In individual situations, like you see those 3 shots, one of them he was going over a bump, the other 2 was just the tank flat out missed, right? But that's a bounce. And he's going to get a lot more of them because this is a tier 8 game with tier 7 tanks involved. And as we talk about the aggregate, that means that overall, as the game progresses, if you maintain your hit point pool in a tank like the WZ or the IS-5 or the IS-3 or the IS-3 Defender or the IS-6, if you can hang on to that hit point pool, and if the right tanks get left on the other team, you can end up being an absolute behemoth. Like, just the most gloriously overpowered tank in the game. Because you are against some very, very, very underdone tanks for the tier. That right there, you see that T49 on the right. Now, this is the T49's worst nightmare, because side armor is all about tracks, okay? Tracks and spaced armor and things like that. And a T49 dealing with a proper Russian heavy, it is not fun. It is so not fun. This is like the T49's, just for God's sakes, it's just splash it with HE. That's 2 shots now that the 49 has missed. And all the while, this WZ is just having a whale of a time making sure that it's side armor. See that side armor that he's got shots at? That is not what the T49 wants to see. Look at him desperately trying to find the rear of that tank. And he hits the side armor again, because the T49 is not renowned for its accuracy. And here comes a tank that can actually fire AP. So he's rolling on out of there. The 49 is resetting his camo. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this is the perfect storm. Have a look at the matchmaking. The tanks that could really worry him, like with nice pen guns and everything, like that AMX CDC, the Tiger P, they're gone. That 49, he doesn't want a bar of it. Now the tier 8, it's not so bad. The tier 8 VK4503. It's not so bad, but man, it's not so good either. And this is really what you want to be doing with a big-ass Russian IS-3 style tank. Running it around in brawls and knife fights. And they call it knife fighting because you've got to be right up close to actually do anything to the bad guys. You're not doing it at range. You're not sniping and wheeling back in. That's not the forte of a tank like the WZ-112. The forte of a tank like this is peek-a-booming in the real tight stuff. And then, oh God, there he goes. Now he showed him the side of his tank again. That's reason he's doing that is it shows him tracks, okay? He's going to take one very lucky there. As the angle's changed, finally gets a pen, right? Finally gets a pen. But that's a hit point trade. That's not like a great trade at all because he's now a one-shot and not really in a great spot. And our amigo here has saved an awful lot of hit points. Now look at this tank go. Nearly 20 kilometers an hour in reverse. That is important. And he's got both of them in front of him again, which is ideal. Takes one hit. Oh, this next one's going to be tough. Where's the 49 gone? He's still in the cap. I might have extended out for a shot on that one. Max roll of 500. Big angle there. 49 still too far away. He's got to abandon that cap. He's not going to get it done. Needs another bounce. Come on, baby. Come on, 6 with your bad ass. Get those angles. Gets it. The 49's finally coming. Oh my God, what is the 49 doing? Disaster. Disaster. He's just got to get one more bounce. Doesn't even need that. Hiding behind rocks, hiding behind tanks, hiding behind anything that'll do the job for him. Nothing left but the heats. You are trash. Righto. Trash. He's not very happy, that bloke. There you go. 4,900 damage in a tier 8 heavy. 5 kills. An absolute buttocks load full of bounces. Really great job that. And although the red team had some big errors, I love the fact that he kept resetting his angles and absolutely trying to keep both those tanks in front of him at all times. And he was getting proactive about that, which was really cool. I'm Bushka. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Stick around for the live stream tomorrow. We're going to be driving a bunch of new tanks. And yeah, as always, look after yourselves and stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.